Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Today I've got the Dutch oven out. We're going to make Dutch oven biscuits. I'll show you how easy it is to make them. So, stay tuned. First, let me just go over the ingredients. We've got a stick of butter. Not going to use all of it. We've got self-rising flour because we're keeping it simple. All-purpose flour requires a couple more ingredients, but we're not going to get into that on this video. And some buttermilk. So, let me first put about 3/4 of a stick of butter in here. The rule of thumb is 1/4 of a stick for each cup of flour. So I'm going to put that on top of there for just a minute. Don't want to leave that on there very long because it'll get too hot, and I'm not trying to cook the butter or anything. I just want to get it melted into a liquid form. I'm going to use a measuring cup, but on a camp out I wouldn't normally take this. You can just take a 2-pound bag of flour, and 3 cups is what we're going to use to fill up this 12-inch Dutch oven. 1, 3. Or you can just pour half a bag in there. So, don't need this anymore. Let's get this off of there before it gets too hot. One thing I always like to do is pour some buttermilk in first. Start mixing it in with the flour, because if you put the butter in first, it'll get lumpy. Now, I think a lot of people don't do biscuits on campouts because they think you have to roll them out and get a rolling pin and a flat surface and all that, but you don't really have to do that. We're going to do it all in the bowl. Okay, that butter is just about melted. Alright, so I'm going to swirl that butter around a little bit, make sure the bottom is coated really good. And I'm going to pour this butter in with the flour, but I'm going to leave a little bit in there. I don't want to pour it all. So now I'm going to continue mixing. Mix that in there good. So that butter is going throughout. And you want to mix just like I'm doing here. Hold the spoon or spatula like that. Use a wooden one. It's good and stiff. And see, this is a little bit wet. It's wanting to stick to stuff, so I'm going to put sprinkle a little bit of flour on there to dry it out. It doesn't take much, and these small adjustments are not bad. Just can be expected. So you want it to turn into a dough ball and start rolling around in a pan like that. So see, it's not sticking to the bowl. Still a little bit wet, so I'll put some flour on my hands. Okay, so we mixed this up. It's not sticking to the bowl. So that's just about right. So now, a little bit more flour. I'm going to put some on my hands and around in the bowl just so things don't stick too much. So what we want to do now is knead it, push it down with your hand, and then flip it over. And do that a few times. Don't want to mess with it too much. Can you see that? Alright, that's plenty. Now we're going to pinch off a piece about that size. Now, instead of the rolling pin, we're just going to use our hands and do this rolling. Smash it between the palms of your hands, pat it out into a biscuit shape. Drop it in that butter and then flip it over. And you'll have butter on the top and the bottom. I'll put a little bit more flour on my hands so we're not sticking. You want to keep all your biscuits about the same size. Not critical, but see how that, you just push on your hands and make that biscuit shape. Flip it. Grab another one. Now if you want your biscuits to be round, like on television or some YouTube channels, space them far apart. I don't care about round biscuits that look like a cookie cutter did them. I just want to get a big biscuit. If you want to make a biscuit look good, make it big. That's what I say. So 3 cups of flour will be just right for a 12-inch Dutch oven. Make just the right amount. You can see how they're spaced. They're all going to cook together. So, speaking of cooking, let's do it. Now the bottom of this thing's still a little bit warm from when I preheated the butter, so I'm just going to go ahead and get my coals on the top. Rule of thumb is about 7 or 8 coals on the bottom and about twice that on the top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's one already down there, 2, 5, 6, 7. A couple more up top. Boy, these are hot. Now, make sure that you don't have one dead center where that Dutch oven's going to sit. I'll explain that in just a second. So, let's get the Dutch oven on those coals. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a couple of them are pretty small, so that'll be about right. So we want double that on the top at least. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18. Let's do a couple more. Alright, so it's 15 minutes past the hour. Let's let that cook for about 7 minutes and then we're going to turn it. I'll show you that when that time comes. In about 7 minutes, so I'm going to rotate it. So the reason you want to rotate it is because each location of the coals, they're pretty spread out. They've got it covered on the top, but the bottom can have hot spots. So everywhere there's a coal, there's going to be a hot spot around that. So what you want to do is just rotate it a quarter of a turn about every 7 minutes. So it's a total cook time of about 20 minutes. So every 7 minutes means you're going to turn it a couple times while it's cooking. Now you want to go ahead and turn the top too. Quarter turn. Get these things out on that outer edge is good too. So that's the first turn. We're going to let them cook and we'll come back and turn them again. And when we turn them that second time, we're going to take a peek. Okay, so it's been about 7 more minutes, so we're going to rotate this one more time, quarter turn, and then a quarter turn on the top. But this time we're going to take a peek. So I don't want to lift that lid too much and let all the heat escape, so I'm just going to take a quick little look. Oh yeah, they're looking good. Big biscuits. Alright, so one thing I like to do, there's a few more coals in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put all of them on the top. And then use that to maybe add a little brown to the top of these biscuits. You know? No point in wasting charcoal, so we're just going to cover it up. Get a lot more heat going. There's not a lot of heat left in these really. These smaller, when they get this small, they're just about done. So about another 5 minutes, and I can smell the biscuits already, so they're well on their way. So now that I'm done with this, I'm going to put it under the table, and that's where I'm going to put my lid when I take it off, because it's going to be really hot. And I don't have my lid stand out here. Okay, so these things are just about ready. I'm going to go ahead and get that lid off in just a second. I'm using a Camp Chef Dutch oven. It's a 12-inch, which I think is a 6-quart. And I'm also using the Camp Chef table. Table makes it really easy because you got everything up where you can reach it really well. But you know, on a camp out, you may not always have that table, and you can do this on the ground in a fire pit or something. But just put some aluminum foil underneath it. Just to keep the ground from pulling the heat out of your charcoal. Also, this comes with a windscreen, and there's not much of a breeze today, so ordinarily if there's any breeze at all, I would have that windscreen on there, so that because the wind will take your heat away also. So let's take a look at these things. They are ready. Ready Freddy. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is that what y'all talking about? So let's get it off the heat. Push these away. And bring it back. So we can see these things. Just a little bit browned on the top. But look at the bottom. Oh my goodness, that's perfect. Where's my knife? So you want to just get them jumbled up, get them so that they're not sitting on the bottom, because they're going to keep cooking. But yeah, look at that. They're real hot. I want to pick one up and bite it, but I know it's too hot. So look at this though. My goodness. See that butter helps brown it on the top. Nice buttery little light crust on the bottom. I'm going to open one up in just a second. But let's get them in a bowl. So that's all there is to it. It's so easy. Look at these big biscuits, man. Let me open that thing up. Come on, focus. Yeah, look at that. Man, I'm telling you. Get another bite. Alright. Thanks for watching the video. If you've hung around this long, you may as well like and subscribe so you can see the next one. Who knows what that'll be, but there will be a next one. Alright, thanks for watching.